Welcome everyone. I am doing two things today. I'm testing my bloody autofocus because if you happen to have watched the interview that Katie and I did, you'll note that we were in and out of focus all the time. So I have spent some moments on YouTube learning about the autofocus for my camera. And as a test, I thought that I'll try to do some moving, which might be a bit weird, but it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for me and not for you. As a test, I need to cup through some coffees sent to me by a gentleman called Phil from Cargo Coffee. And I've never cupped any of their coffees before, so why not cup some coffees whilst live on the internet? Well, not live because this is recorded, but on the internet, testing my camera and my autofocusy thing, which is why I'm going to gesticulate as much as possible and move as much as possible, as much as this seems completely stupid. It is so that when I edit myself later on, which I hate doing, I will be able to see whether the autofocus works, which means then that I can do more of the interviewee type things, because wouldn't it be great if I did some interviews with local coffee professionals, people who've been around the block a little bit. I've got some names that I'm going to reach out to once I get better microphones and other bits and bobs, because actually it was quite good fun, Katie and I sitting down and talking. We don't often talk about stuff to do with the business because we try to keep business and personal life separate. Why wouldn't you? But actually it was quite good fun and sparked a little bit of interest in me in maybe talking to some of the coffee people that we have worked with for a long time, talking to them about the industry, the city in which we live and work in, the coffee culture that is today versus when those people started. Anyway, that's by the by. Today's task at hand is to cup coffees from Cargo, which are all Brazils. I am on Cargo's website, which if you're interested, I will link down below and tell you the address. Coffee Cargo, one word, .coffee. And these guys work with coffee companies, coffee growers, pardon me, in Brazil. I will read a snippet of their manifesto. Our purpose is to locate high potential, underrepresented coffee producers and help them reach new heights. Sounds good. By forming meaningful relationships based on full transparency developed through commitment, longevity, and honesty, we hope to mobilize them to go from producers of standout specialty coffee to producers capable of coffees that can take your breath away. I wonder whether any of these are going to take my breath away. Searching for this potential is only the first step on the journey, but finding it stokes our mission. The possibility to produce specialty coffee is a simple matter of terroir, but being able to produce coffee cupping SCA of 84 plus, that's pretty good, 84 plus. Yeah, that's a good standard. Year after year requires commitment and meticulous dedication. I agree. Not only that, it also requires a bit more focus when you're roasting. We partner with and reward producers who share this idea. Great. Our long-term goal is to spread the positive impact of specialty coffee to underrepresented communities. Beyond our work in Brazil, our purpose is to provide specialty roasters, like ourselves, with unique, transparently sourced green coffee. Wonderful. This is all good news. So, to that end, I have a bunch, 5 coffees sent to me by Phil at Cargo, and they are all from Brazil. They are a single pulp natural Brazil and 4 natural processed coffees. They're all warehoused in Bury St Edmunds with a company called Vollers, and they smell great. Cup number 1, the pulp natural, had a little bit of a sort of a bovrily note to it on the dry aroma. dry fragrance, pardon me. Aroma is wet, fragrance is dry. I should remember this because I'm one of them Q-grader peoples. Anyhow, let's dig in. I don't yet know how to do the James Hoffmann and create two different audio channels. That'll be my next time. So for those of you who don't enjoy me slurping, stick your fingers in your ears now to avoid the slurpy noise. Okay, let's dig in. First pass, oh so okay. There's a little less fruit in these coffees than maybe I would like to see. However, I did ask Phil to send roasted samples. It's a bit of a debate as to whether I should receive roasted samples or green samples. If I received green samples and roasted them myself, I'd be able to guarantee that the profile is a profile that I desire, I wish. There's another frame of thought that I have, that the green coffee importers, the people who are sending these samples out, work with these coffees on a daily basis. And there's some element of, I want to see what they think the coffee should be like, or at least you would imagine that they're roasting these inside of their sample rooms and brewing them themselves. So if they're not happy with the brew, they'd be adjusting their sample roast profiles. So for the first off, I did think it would be wise for me to have the roasted samples, but the caveat there being is that I'm cupping somebody else's expression of coffee, and I've therefore got to be able to see through that, as well as being able to pick out the coffees. The first pass was less fruit than I would want, an awful lot of chocolate characteristics, which would be expected, or as I would be expecting to see and taste within natural processed coffees from Brazil. Now these coffees are opening up a touch more, I'm beginning to be able to perceive a few more of the flavor compounds that I think that my palate can see, and maybe I can start giving some descriptors to those flavor compounds as I'm cupping. So let's go to sample number 1. So this has quite a light body. There's a touch of dryness on it, and maybe that's the way I've brewed it. It could obviously be the roast as well. There's a little bit of lemon in there, a whole heap of dark chocolate. The dark chocolate could be to do with the roast profile, but it definitely has the lightest body in comparison to the other coffees. So lemons and dark chocolates is what I get from sample number 1. Sample 2, there's a touch of citrus as well. It's a mix between lemon and a touch of orange. There's some nut in here. What type of nut? Maybe a touch of cashew or a pecan. Finishing up the chocolate body, there's cocoa in there as well, and I can taste a little bit of roast too. I'll try and dispel that so I can taste the coffees itself. Let's do cup 3. Now, I will admit that I think this coffee's a little on the flat side. Yes, there's some nut. You could say roasted hazelnut. I'm not getting much fruit. I'm getting some of the roast character. It's big on chocolate. I must admit that I'm finding it a little difficult to be able to pull anything out of this that I would really want to buy. So I will push that one forward because I want to skip that coffee. So coffee 4. Again, there's some citrus in this cup. Lemons, maybe some orange too. Again, more nut. The chocolate now is a smidge more milk chocolatey. This is, so far, is probably my most Sitio, I can't pronounce that, Portella maybe. I'll have to go to the website. That so far has been my more preferable. Let's have a taste of this last one. Okay, so the last coffee was much better, more fragrant. There was some orange blossom characteristics in there, a little more caramels, sweeter. There was a greater degree of layering between the acidity and fruit composition, plus then the finish and the body and the balance. So this This is my preferred cup. Now this was a twofold exercise, remember, for me learning how to use my camera a touch better than in previous videos, and two, cupping some coffee from Cargo, of whom I have never cupped before, and I thought I would amalgamate those two things into this cupping now. Based on the samples, there's possibly one that I would buy. I would maybe want to have a taste of some green samples that I can roast to my own profile. Overall, they were very Brazil. They were pretty delicious based on that. None of which particularly stood out as 84 plus coffees. Those are the coffees that the website states that it would be doing. Yes, they're all clean, they're crisp. They were obviously specialty coffees, but for an 84 point coffee and above, I would want to taste a little bit more fruit characteristics, a little bit more of the terroir, a little bit of the things that I know really great quality Brazils can offer. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for coming along on the journey. I hope this was useful, and I damn hope that that was in focus. Until next time, cheers.